What's up, everybody? We back up in here, Hella Flagrant, the podcast. It's your main man, Hella Flagrant DM. I got my brother Sean B. Flagrant. It's that time of the year, man. We all the way down to it. The NBA Finals is what we were waiting on. Golden State Warriors, our home team, going to go against the Six, Drake and the Raptors. How you feeling about the NBA Finals and how it shook out?
Oh, man, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, we're back again for the fifth straight year, I guess it is, Finals. I mean, amazing run by the Golden State Warriors always. I mean, this is the best time of my life that I've had. I mean, just to see my team even be in this situation for 5 straight years is remarkable, considering I never even thought they'd be here in the first place. But, I mean, new opponent this year, you know what I'm saying? No LeBron James, not even in the playoffs, as we know.
Right.
So that means Cleveland won't be making an appearance this year, which thank God I couldn't stand Cleveland. I mean, I like LeBron, but I couldn't stand seeing Cleveland there. But now we got a new venom, new enemy. You know what I'm saying? We got Kawhi Leonard, man, a few words, and the Toronto Raptors, man. This is exciting. I mean, Canada versus the U.S. It's different. It's different.
I'm not laughing at the statement Canada versus the U.S. as if Canada is weak or something like that. I don't want to say that. It just sounds weird.
It's different, man. I mean, I thought about it a lot too with the NBA and everything like that. I don't think this could have been a better situation having the reigning world champs, playing a Canada-based basketball team, the whole, Canada all together, Vancouver, everybody coming together. Vancouver obviously lost their Grizzlies team to Memphis. So, I mean, everybody in Canada is coming to back up the Toronto Raptors and Jurassic Park and Drake and everybody that they got down there. All they players who couldn't make it before when LeBron was there, you know what I'm saying? They exit DeMar DeRozan out and slide in Kawhi Leonard and not back to the finals for the first time. So, I mean, great situation. I mean, let's talk about, first how they got there, both teams. Obviously, the Warriors handled their business quite easily. Well, let me take that back. Not quite easily. I don't want to disrespect the Portland Trailblazers like that, you know what I'm saying? But sweep.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's disrespectful to say that they handled them quite easily. I will say that, the Warriors came from behind in every single game, which either A, is a testament to the way they play, or B, it just showed that the Portland Trailblazers didn't have enough to play 4 quarters worth of basketball against this team. And that's not, dissing them in any way. This is just it's an all-world team. They made it to the finals 5 straight times now, and so to get to the Western Conference Finals, hats off to Portland, hats off to Dame and CJ. But, as a team, they just didn't have enough pieces to keep up with this team 4 quarters a game.
No, and, even without Kevin Durant, who is still injured, looks like he will not be playing game 1 of the finals in Toronto this year. Actually, will start off in Toronto instead of Golden State, which is a little bit surprising. But the Warriors, like I said, have rolled every single game since he's been out. Steph Curry's been on another world, scoring 36 and a half in the last series. Yeah. Before that, the 2 games in Houston to get them over the top. He didn't have a great shooting half, obviously, in the first, in the game 6, but exploded for 33 in the second. So, I mean, he's playing out of his mind. Draymond Green has came out of not really nowhere, but just reinvented himself. Said, "I forget the not really the trash talk. He's still a trash talk. Draymond can't shut his mouth with that. But you feel me? Instead of him whining and crying about calls, which he tended to do a little bit more than normal, the last few years. I mean, he just said, "Look, I'm about to just put on my hard hat, go back to who I am, playing basketball the right way," and he has excelled to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Warrior players have to be proud of that, because when Draymond is playing right, everybody playing right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, keep doing that. Klay obviously doing his thing, staying consistent. Iguodala has had, a little bit of an injury. Hopefully he'll be able to, kind of keep it together during Toronto series and, and maybe maybe. I'm not keeping my fingers crossed because technically I don't know if I really want him back. But we might see DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about before we get too deep into that and what we might see in the final. Let's talk about Milwaukee and Toronto and really what happened over there. Now, first two games of the series, Milwaukee came out looking pretty dominant. A lot of these sportscasters who first of all, I didn't trust these guys to begin with, but I'm losing a lot of faith in some of these guys who get out there and just like, oh, Toronto has no chance after being down 0-2.
Paul Pierce? Oh, I thought you just wanted a name or something.
No, I actually, Charles Barkley said it and Colin Cowherd said it, and I think Stephen A. agreed with someone else that said it. So there
Paul Pierce definitely said it, though.
Oh, yeah, Paul Pierce definitely said it. We know that. Fucking foolishness, but just it's one of those things where, to me, what happened and what you have to look at in those kind of situations is, the Bucks are up 0-2, but Toronto's got veteran players. They've got guys that have played. Kawhi's obviously won a championship, so he's played this deep into the playoff. Serge Ibaka has played this deep into the playoffs. You know what I mean? And so that playoff experience matters. And so, even Kyle Lowry's made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with these same Raptors and lost to LeBron numerous times. We won't go there.
But he still was there. He still was there, though.
He was kind of there.
He was on the court. He was on the court.
Right. And so just that playoff experience, I think, to me, is kind of what led to the Bucks ultimately losing. Like, I really felt like they made a lot of rookie mistakes in that last game, or the last two games, honestly, towards the end of both Game 5 and obviously in Game 6, losing that lead. It was really kind of, on them to step up, and they really made a lot of rookie mistakes as players and as coaches too. And so I think, Milwaukee, they were a good team. Will they ever get this far again? I don't know.
In my opinion, I agree with everything you said. I think that the moment was too big for them. Giannis is a tremendous player, but he has work to do. I think, like you were talking about, all the announcers, and even me a little bit at some point, you get enamored with the fact that Giannis is a freak of nature basketball player that, looks like he can't be stopped by anything. I mean, the man takes one dribble, can jump from the free throw line, from the half court line. It makes no sense. But the same token, we have to understand that coaches are coaches for a reason. Right. Just because you have a superhuman talent doesn't mean he can't be stopped. He's still a man. And I think what happened, in the Milwaukee series, Milwaukee came up, 2-0 and everything. He thought, oh, it's over, like you alluded to. But what happened was Kawhi Leonard decided, like, I'm going to take this on myself to do what he had to do. Now, Kawhi, he doesn't speak a lot, like I said before. Doesn't mean he's any less of a superstar. I mean, the man has done everything in his power to keep his team together. And, I mean, it's surprising that somebody could just join a team and just have that much of an impact, but he did. And he's doing it right now. I mean, the man is averaging, 30, 31 points per game during this whole playoff run. And, I mean, it's a lot of work that he's been doing has been team-oriented. He's got Serge Ibaka playing well. Marc Gasol, who people kind of ruled out after a while because of his age and stuff like that, has been stepping up and playing, for the team very well. Kyle Lowry, who we all know shrinks in the playoffs, has actually been stepping up and playing well. Denny Green, who played with him on the Spurs. Fred VanVleet, shout out to him for having his son, and now he's playing out of the world. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just a lot of the Toronto players, and Pascal Siakam, I can't say enough about him because he is playing extremely well as well as their second best option. So it was team effort, and they shut down Giannis. And what happened was, Milwaukee didn't have enough to shoot.
Well, Giannis can't shoot, first of all,
at all.
He needs a shot.
That's a problem.
And
That
that
definitely
is a problem because, they took him out in game 5. I think it was about a minute or so left in the game. And they took him out because they needed another offensive shooter. They were down, I think, either 2 or 3 at the time trying to play the foul game, and they needed another shooter. Well, here's the problem when you do that. When your biggest man on the floor has to come off the court, if there's enough time for a rebound and a putback, but he's not in the game, now all your hopes ride on trying to make this shot. Meanwhile, you have the biggest, most dominant man sitting on the scorer's table waiting for the next defensive stop to come in and play defense. That's a problem.
Right.
That's a real problem. Like you have to be able to trust him down to the wire of a game. Yeah. If he's going to be this guy, if he's going to be that guy, like you have to be able to have him in the game at that point in time. And that was a problem. I also feel like, and this may be ancillary, I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks team and players got caught up in the extra stuff. I think they got distracted by Drake. I think they got distracted by, again, the bright lights of the moment and allowed a lot of that extra stuff to creep in. You know what I mean? Like worried about trying to troll a guy that's not ever going to be on the floor as opposed to this guy that's scoring 30 a night on you. You don't have an answer for him.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that. Drake is a super fan. Obviously, we know how he is in Toronto. He's excited, boisterous, does everything in his power to make it seem like he loves Toronto, and I know he does. I mean, he is the captain of the Six. We all get that. I mean, but he loves everybody. He loves the Warriors. I from what I heard, he has 35 and 30 tattooed on his arm. Yeah, so it's not, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know who he's rooting for in this final series, but I mean, he's going to be happy either way. Yeah. But my point is for the Milwaukee Bucks, focus on what the game is being played in front of you. Don't worry about the outside noise, the outside people, the coach responding to Drake doing something. That's not your business. You know what I'm saying? Drake's not doing that in the Milwaukee arena, so it doesn't matter. That's why they call home court advantage home court advantage. When you're at home, if they want to do anything, have Drake swing from the ceiling. You know what I'm saying?
Letting out OVO owls. Just
exactly. Whatever they want to have done, let them do it. That's why they have home advantage. That's why they got away. Not got away. They didn't get away with anything. That's why they beat you easily, handily. In game 5 and game 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Milwaukee, you'll understand. I think it'll be humbling for Giannis, especially considering he was exposed for the lack of shooting. That they built a wall, and their wall was stronger than anything he could get through. And now maybe in the summertime he'll come back, and if he wins the MVP or not, he'll understand that the MVP was for the regular season and not for the playoffs. So. It is what it is. Now it's time for the big boys to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so speaking of the big boys, down to the NBA Finals. Again, we talked about Kawhi Leonard. He has won. We also can talk about the fact, and this obviously popped up on memes, and we're going to hear this probably a lot through at least the first couple games of the series, is that the last time Kawhi faced the Warriors in the playoffs, is when he got hurt. So obviously we're going to hear that narrative. We're going to hear the narrative that right now Vegas has the Warriors as a 3-1 favor in terms of the odd betting. So we're going to hear that. We're going to hear this story that you talked about, DeMarcus Cousins potentially coming back. So let's talk about some of this stuff.
No. There's still one more that we need to address.
I'm not talking about that.
The return of Patrick McCaw. Warrior fans, you miss him. He's coming back in the Raptors red.
I don't understand why he didn't resign with us. I still don't understand why he didn't resign with us. Like you were guaranteed. I mean, you weren't guaranteed to make it on Toronto, but obviously you made it. But you were guaranteed to come back to the finals with us. Right? Well,
so the situation was there's actually a story that Mark Spears did from. I think it was the Undisputed the Athletic. But basically, he talked to Patrick McCaw, and Patrick McCaw was basically saying that it was a lot about playing time. He wanted, I guess, more playing time behind Steph. He knew, obviously, Steph was going to start. Nobody would think otherwise. But he wanted to be a point guard. didn't want to be off guard, and he was a little upset with the re-signing of Nick Young as well as Sean Livingston being there. Sean Livingston was going to play forever. And, and obviously when they signed Quinn Cook. So he kind of felt that his playing time was diminished and that, he had to find other ways to get out. He did not really want, or I say he didn't really want to, but I feel like he felt like he did the wrong thing by trying to force his way out and everything like that. So he feels sorry. And I actually did hear that once Cleveland cut him, because now he's on the Raptors, but at first, once Cleveland cut him, he called Steve Kerr and asked to come back. And Steve Kerr said, nah, bro. Can't do that. So he said he will be nervous. He will be back on the bench, the same place, well, actually on the other side of the bench that he sat last year. But at least he will still be in the Warriors, the Oracle Arena for Game 3 and 4, which will be exciting that he will get to watch the Warriors play again, just in a different jersey.
Yeah. So
back to the real stuff. My bad.
Back to the real stuff. The news. I don't know if it's good or bad about Boogie potentially coming back. I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? You came to this team specifically to try to get you a ring. You took a low salary. They worked you through injury. It turned out to win some games in the thick of the season. But let's be honest. When it comes down to how the Warriors win basketball games, the style of play that we played when we were playing through Boogie Cousins is not how we really win basketball games. And so even if Boogie's at 79 to 83%, because I don't believe he's at 100% at all, even if he's a high 60s, I don't even think he's at 70%. I don't know what he is. Is he necessary?
Not necessary in the simple fact that, he's going to produce at a high level. He might be necessary to take fouls, to eat up minutes for somebody else. I could see that.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to be a starter for sure. And that might bother him tremendously because we all know how his temper is and how he gets. But look, the realization is this. Boogie came here to what? Rehab and to get a ring. He's doing both.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like whether he plays 1 minute or he plays the whole game, which I don't want him to do either, honestly, he's going to get a ring and he's still rehabbing. So the goal right now for Boogie Cousins is a little bit different than the goal for Kevin Durant. We all know what Kevin Durant means to this team, despite what people say. Kevin Durant is still our best player in terms of what he can do collectively. I'm not saying he's the best Warrior because it still belongs to Steph. But in terms of all the dynamics, I feel he's probably the best player. I don't know if he's best for our team, but he still is we still need him for our team.
Right.
Now, DeMarcus is a part of our team as the same way as Andrew Bogut is a part of our team right now. I mean, he's a body. He can play in spurts if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, he can watch on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's no shame in that in his situation.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, Kevon Looney's playing all right. Well enough to be able to fill in that role. Hopefully Andre Iguodala's fine. I'm guessing this time off has allowed him to kind of heal up on whatever little minor aches and pains that he has. And so, again, Boogie, I don't know that we need you. I know you want to play just to say you played in the finals, just to not look like you were that guy that rode the Warriors' coattails. But at the end of the day, bro, you got paid, you rehabbed your leg, you're getting a ring.
All right. The goal is to continue to get paid because we all know most likely if you do, rehab correctly and you do want what you want, the Warriors are not going to be the ones to pay you.
Right.
They just don't have enough money, nor do I don't think that you fit in the style that they normally run. So if you want to continue your journey in the NBA, you might as well continue to rehab, because if you go out and play in the finals and you do decide to give it your all on one play and that leg completely falls off, which it could do now because it's already been 2 injuries in this last, in the last full calendar year, what happens now? You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting that in the same thing. But like I said, Durant is a different situation. Durant, we don't obviously want to get hurt or injured. And I'm going to ask a question after this to you, and I want all Warrior fans to think about this too. If Durant was to come out and play, knock on wood, and he was to get hurt, it wouldn't matter. Durant's still going to get 30 plus million from anybody, because they'll wait a year for that to have Durant under contract no matter what, whether it be the Warriors or anybody else.
Right.
That's not the same case for Boogie Cousins, because the game has changed, and that's more guard oriented, or at least the big man have to be able to do more by stepping out.
A full health Boogie Cousins wasn't that nimble and getting up and down the floor that fast. So now after an Achilles injury, and what is this other one? A calf?
Quad. He has quad. Yeah, it's worse.
I got 2 leg injuries on a guy that wasn't the most agile and quick up the floor already to begin with, and an aging player. You know what I mean? I can't justify paying you a ton of money if you come out here, something happens and you get hurt.
Right.
I even if you don't get hurt, even if you just come out here and you look terrible.
Right.
I don't want to see that. So
yeah, it's better to keep your stock together than not to do that. But now let me ask this, Warrior fans, and I'm asking this to you as well. If Kevin Durant is a little bit more hurt than we think he is, because in all indications, all they said was his calf injury. It was a mild calf. Now, it wasn't mild. Mild meant he would have already been playing back, because last time he's had that, he took him 7 days, 2 other times to get back. So this injury is a little bit more severe than we think. Would you feel some type of way as Warrior fans if Kevin Durant did not come back into this finals and did not play strictly for the reason that he did not want to hurt himself to ruin his situation and getting paid in the following year?
And that's a realistic question and statement. I didn't know you were going to pose that as a question. I thought we were going to broach it as a topic, but I'll ride with it. And so my answer would probably be the same. I personally, I can't speak on all of Dub Nation, don't care whether he decides to come back or not. For a couple reasons. Number one, and I'm not being arrogant, but this team that's there can beat just about any other team in the league. We're here. I don't really see another team beating us as is in a 7-game series. They may get 1 game, possibly 2. In a 7-game series, I don't see that happening. It's too much. When Steph, Clay, Draymond gets to click, and Andre and Draymond are playing defense, you get your minutes from Looney, you get your little garbage minutes from Livingston and Jerebko, and these guys start to click. I mean, there's 4 wins somewhere. This team has won 73 games and 65 games and 66 games over the last 4 or 5 years. They're going to find a way to win games. You know what I mean?
Right.
With or without Kevin Durant. And so I really don't care if he comes back. I more so am concerned about and him just as a guy, as a player moving on for his future. I'm more so concerned about him coming back and something happening to him, getting re-injured or whatever the case may be. But I'm also of the notion that I think his injury is worse, and I've always thought it was worse than what they let on, and that he won't be back to play regardless. So, I think this Warriors team can do it without him. Is it going to be a little bit tougher? Yes. I think he gives us that cushion to be able to win games by like 15 to 20 points. We may win them by 7, 6 points instead. Right. But I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree with the notion that, I feel that Kevin Durant is still, or I said, it's his right to keep himself healthy at all times. I don't think the Warriors would ever do anything to completely, force him to play. The reason why I'm saying this, like we was talking about with Kawhi Leonard and his injury that happened in Golden State when he was playing for the San Antonio Spurs, but ultimately led him in leaving the San Antonio Spurs because of his leg never got right. I'm a firm believer in somebody, if they know their body, they know their body. Right. Either way. You can't really tell somebody that they do or they don't know that something hurts just because you're a doctor or just because you think that they can play doesn't mean that they should play. On the same note, I believe in this Warriors group with or without him. I'm not going to say that they're going to for sure win. I believe they will. But either way, I think that they have enough to get it done. On the same note, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to feel better to me if they do it with or without KD, but they need to be prepared to do this without KD.
Right.
Meaning you can't just trust that even if he is or can come back at some point, he hasn't played basketball in over 3 weeks now.
Right.
/ he's barely touched the court, so his movement will be limited. He might not be as aggressive, obviously, as you would want him to be. There's no point into messing up either his future or the flow of the Warriors team in general by bringing somebody out that maybe not ready to play just to have him out.
Right.
Same thing with Boogie, but Boogie's a little bit different. Boogie needs to rehab just in general because of he needs for himself. Kevin Durant is also for himself, but it's more on the same thing. I don't want what is happening to Boogie to start happening to Kevin Durant, no matter where he plays at, whether it be here, New York, or wherever he decides to do next year.
Right. Yeah. So, we'll see. I don't know. I hope he stays off the court. I hope he doesn't play. That's just me. Because I like I said, I still am of the notion that his injury is worse than they let on. So I hope he doesn't play. Period. I hope it in like I'm hoping it like if he really is injured and really is that hurt, I hope he doesn't try to play. If he can't play, cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you really are as injured as I think you are, like I hope you don't try to play just to say you did it.
Right. Well, and speaking of that, when we just talked about Kawhi Leonard and his situation that he had with San Antonio and basically him and Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs organization kind of got into it and ultimately led in him leaving and him getting traded now to Toronto, where obviously we see them now being in the NBA Finals that we're about to play against. How do you feel now about Kawhi's future and what has happened, with this revamp of Toronto and how excited their fans are? Should they be worried about Kawhi saying goodbye?
Yeah, they still have to be worried because the East is going to be dramatically different next year.
Right.
I don't want to say Toronto got a cakewalk. I think they lucked up in the right ways and they played hard when they needed to, but they always got a team that was pretty much equally matched but was missing like a small piece. And so Toronto was able to capitalize on that. I think between free agency and the draft this year, the East is going to be dramatically different. And with that being said, if I'm a Kawhi, I got to see what other moves Toronto's trying to make outside of keeping me that's going to make me want to ensure that I'm going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be honest, if some of these teams strengthen up, I'm not knocking Kyle Lowry, but he's not going to be enough. You know what I'm saying? To carry you. You're going to need somebody else a little bit more consistent to ride with you. And if I'm Kawhi and I'm thinking about getting at least back to this point to be able to play for a championship, or go deep into the playoffs, I'm going to need some weapons if Boston tools up. If a KD and a Kyrie go to New York and I'm still over here on this East Coast, you know what I'm saying? I need some tools. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that he knows. And when I say that, I don't think he's just saying that to deflect from the question. It may be something where it's really like, no, I really got to see what moves. Or do I even want to stay on the East? Do I want to go to the West? You know what I mean? And so I think this free agency, and I've said this to you personally, I think this offseason free agency is one of the craziest in years. And it's going to set the tone for the league for the next 4 to 5 years easily.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's completely true, and we will have a free agency update at some point, obviously, on this show. But it's the truth. I mean, just the fact that you have Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, if you really think about what we're just saying right now, free agency is going to star the two best players that have been in this NBA playoffs the whole time on both sides. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard has been the best player in the Eastern Conference by far. He is putting up numbers that are just outrageous right now. And he's pretty much, I'm not saying he's carrying by themselves, but he is carrying a group of players that nobody really expected to be as good, or at least sustain this level of play for this long. As well as Kevin Durant, not saying the same thing about his supporting cast, because we know the Warriors have the greatest supporting cast in the world. But the point is, up until his injury, Kevin Durant was the best player in the playoffs as well, at least on the West. If not, you know what I'm saying? Both him and Kawhi were the two best players playing at the same time. And they're both going to be free agents, along with a lot of other people. You got Clay that's going to be a free agent coming up as well. Unfortunately, I don't want him to go anywhere, obviously, but he will be a free agent. Kyrie Irving, you just spoke about. Kemba Walker. There are a lot of people that are going to be on the move either way, and that are big enough names that can literally change franchises in some type of way. And if they all decide to move and go their own special way, it is going to shake up everything. Everything. And Toronto, look, I'm just going to say this. Congratulations for getting to the NBA Finals. I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you what I want to happen. I hope you guys lose. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. So, yes, it has been an incredible time watching you guys, but I hope you lose again, just like you did to LeBron all those years. But it's been exciting. You got Drake. You got the Jurassic Park fan base. Everybody that has been coming out and supporting Toronto, it has been amazing. But I will say this, you should be terrified, not because of what's going to happen starting Thursday, but because what's going to happen on June 1st. June 30th. It's now moved up. They moved it to June 30th instead of July 1st. Sorry. June 30th. Because I'm telling you right now, Kawhi Leonard has played 1 year for your franchise, and he is already considered the best Raptor of all time. Sorry, Vince Carter. Kawhi Leonard is the best Raptor of all time. And if you lose him because to whatever reason, and I know he wants to be in LA. I know he wants to be there. But if you lose him, you will destroy that franchise forever. Because Kyle Lowry is still on contract, and that's the problem right there. You have Kyle, and you are going to pay him, and you're going to pay Serge Ibaka. That is not a sign for a winner. Yeah. I am sorry. You will lose everybody. If Kawhi goes, Drake will leave too. I guarantee you that. He already spends too much time in LA and Vegas and New York, so you don't have to worry about that. He will not be there at all unless you guys play the Lakers or the Warriors or the Knicks, because he will be a new fan for them just like he always is anyway. So, look, Toronto, like I said, be more worried about what happens June 30th as opposed to what happens starting May 30th. Because, you cannot lose Kawhi. If you have to trap him just like the Raptor in Jurassic Park, put him in one of those cages, you do that. But you do not let him go anywhere close to LA. If he just says, I have to leave the building, no. No way. You figure a way to keep him contained. Keep him contained. Because if he gets close to LA, he ain't coming back.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. It's interesting. We got, what should be a decent little series ahead of us. I don't like to do predictions, outcomes, and things of that nature. I'm just gonna say, Warriors are the team to beat, and I think they'll go ahead and get it off in 5 games. 6 would be a stretch, but I think they'll go ahead and get it off in 5 games. That's me.
I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go 6. I'm going to go 6 only because I do feel that if it does take KD to either come back later on the series or not at all, it still will be a little bit different just because I do believe in Toronto's defense. Not as much their scoring, but their defense. So I do think that if they can keep it low, they might actually have a chance to win 1 or 2 games. I'm just going to say 6 just for comfort, I guess. I mean, trust me, I'd want it in less, but I'm just going to say 6 for comfort. But Either way, I'm still going to go for the Warriors because they have hella rings, just like this shirt says.
Yeah. You can get those shirts, the hella ring shirts, the new foul shirts, every other Flagrant foul shirt on hellaflagrant.com. And there's a link to it on the flagrantfoul.com, at hellaflagrant on Instagram. Go on there. Buy a shirt, buy your friends a shirt. There's still time. If you order shirts right now, I think you can still get them while the finals are going on. You may not get it for the first game, but it'll get to you for sure while the finals are going on. So get on hellaflagrant.com. Go order all these Flagrant Foul shirts. Get you one.
Yeah, for real, though, because, look, just saying, you might want to wear something, I don't know, for a parade.
Warriors fans are so arrogant, bro. We're up here talking about Boogie Cousins is getting handed a ring. We're planning a parade already.
Okay, look, let me change this. Let me change this. You can buy foul shirts and other foul shirts in red or black and red to support your Raptors team as well. You probably don't want this hella ring shirt because you ain't got hella rings. But you can buy everything else on there in different colors. We don't sell these in other colors because nobody else has hella rings. All we have is this color and the blue and gold. So you don't need that. But we do have the foul shirt right there in red and black. Yep. We also have the cursive hella flagrant as well as the original. But you can get all of that, like he said, hellaflagrant.com.
Yep, hellaflagrant.com. So make sure you get your shirts. Make sure you go to flagrantfoul.com, check out the blogs, and just keep messing with us on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, everywhere you can think. Just type in #hellaflagrant. We're gonna pop up. We're there. So wherever you want to, listen to us, interact, connect with us, do so. Flagrant Foul, man. NBA Finals 2019. Here we go.
Start it up. Peace.
Peace.